What's what? It's what's what? Woo-da, everybody! Welcome to the Old Man Liver Show. It's What's What with Old Man Liver, your favorite fucked up freaky friend. This is the show where I get to talk about whatever the fuck I want and have whoever I want on my show. And today in the studio, I've got my dear friend Bryan Hopkins, and also my other dear friend, Larry Glen Anderson, a.k.a. Glen Larry from K-Ghost Radio on Zoom. So thanks for joining us today. We are talking about ghosts, UFOs, and other oddities.
I get it now.
See?
I had no idea.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, okay. Now, hey, what's up, dude? I thought there was an alien in the room.
I was trying to trick you.
Dude.
Yeah. So then, and then in a little bit, Bryan's sister, Buffy Hopkins, is going to be joining us because she's got some incredible psychic talents, which are just out of this world. So I can't wait to talk about that. But since we've got Larry on the show, can you tell us about, you've got your own show on K-Ghost. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Oh, our show consists of phenomena, UFOs, ghosts. We get the most wackiest calls you can imagine. And it's a lot like the Art Bell show back in the day. Although I'm not Art Bell, not trying to be Art Bell, but there's kind of a similarity. Something.
Well, you look
on.
like Art Bell from the waist down. I'm just saying.
I know, yeah, but no, seriously, it's we get a lot of reports from a lot of people. We've got people who've written books, psychic investigators, to ufologists that really know their stuff. And I've been involved in this for many, many years. Since I was 16 years old, I was a UFO investigator. Believe it or not, yes, 16. And wow. I've seen several myself, and it is the real deal. And even with the phenomena of the psychic world and all this stuff, that's in my world also. And so it's there. I've always loved radio, and now I'm doing what I want to do.
That's awesome. And of course, you're living out in Good Springs, Nevada, which is probably UFO and ghost capital of the world. So out in the Mojave Desert. Yeah. So you're right in the spot where you're going to spot a lot of that shit, right?
Right. And this town has got a lot going on here, and energy. And watch the skies, because things do happen. And out here where there's no really light problems, when you get out away from the city, you will see more things in the sky you've ever seen in your life. You just got to be alert to what's going on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've totally seen from the Pioneer Saloon, I've totally seen shit going across the sky that I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck that is. So
Yeah.
Is there, can I ask him a question?
Please.
Is there one thing that sticks out in your mind that you witnessed yourself that you can share with us?
What you would want to know about the ghost end of it? Or
let's talk about the aliens first.
But my experience up here are two things. Once I was sitting in my driveway, it was unbelievable. The sky was, these stars were like rocks. And it's happened to me twice. And I looked up these two planets, and I go, come on, let me see something. I want to see something, and my buddy was with me, and he goes, well, I don't know, Larry, about all this stuff. I go, no, you just got to be alert and just think about, let's see something and just be open to whatever. And sure enough, from one planet to the other, this light, like a small light, orb light, whatever, went to one planet to the other and went back again. And it was unbelievable. We couldn't believe what we saw. No stars do that.
Right.
Know? And then a while back, we were out in the desert on our tailgate party, and I had 4 or 5 people there. And we looked up in the sky and goes, boy, those are pretty stars. Unbelievable. But there was like a cutout in the sky of these certain stars just moving very slowly. Very slowly. And stars don't move together very slowly, but it was like they were camouflaged into the other stars in the universe. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
Now, have you actually ever seen any alien beings? Like
No.
Just the ships that are...
Not while I've been sober.
I was going to say, I've seen a lot of fucking aliens, but that's after like 4 tabs of acid. I can't verify I actually saw them or not.
Yeah. But no, I have never seen an alien. I'd love to.
Like, do you believe that story, the recent one in Vegas, where someone said it was in their backyard, that they were like too tall?
Yes, I do believe
Do
that.
you think that probably actually happened?
Yes, I do. And I think it was some type of a vortex that opened up and they were there. It made a big bang. And I think that was the reason for that sound. And a lot of people heard it. It had nothing to do with the other meteor coming down, though. Those are two separate things.
But that big bang might have been me kanking next door, because I am Larry's next door neighbor in Good Springs. So
you are? Okay.
Yeah, I think that was me fucking cracking it out. But it could have coincided with.
It was the chick on acid. I don't know.
That happens. But no, yeah, because I remember, there were two things that, like, people said they saw something going down, and then somebody reported.
Did you see the video? I saw a video of someone.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was.
What do you think?
I was like, this is crazy. This was crazy. And my girl was like, I don't know. Is that real?
Well,
like,
the shit going down, couldn't that possibly be just a meteor or whatever, which happens pretty regularly? Like, could be, right?
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing about all this, why was there a camera put up by the county or whatever government agency to watch that backyard after this had happened, the report of this alien? Were they hoping to get something else that would happen? And they had several different trucks go by and cars go by. I know there's a private investigator who had his bit of it, but we have not. I've had friends say they don't even know where these people are at anymore. And they just kind of disappeared. So.
Yeah, that's weird. And to me, it makes sense that there has to, I'm one of those. It's like, statistically, there has to be other life in the universe as vast as it is. The question is, does it actually? Do we have more intelligent life than us that comes and visits our planet?
Well, it's not you, that's for sure.
Well, I'm certainly not intelligent life. So I'm still waiting. I realize I'm just a little experimental little ant to somebody else, and I would like to be anal probed, but nobody's willing to do it. At least from another planet. I mean, I've got plenty of probing from here.
There's been a lot of abductions have been going on for years and years, and now that since social media's got a hold of most of this stuff, it's more stories are coming out, and it's at the point where the government can't hide anything anymore. It's out of the bag, and more things are happening, and they're forced to come out and say what's really going on. Although they'll take their time on it. Yeah, they will. And they may use this to do something else, why something else is going on in the government. It's just a big, big plan. And,
I saw that. I saw something on it today when I was watching that live feed, and they were talking about, like, there was a major who is like the whistleblower. He's coming out and saying he's been sitting on this for years. And then another, like, I forget what rank this guy was, but this goes back to 2004 or something, where he had an experience where there were two alien ships. He was calling one of them a Tic Tac, and another.
That's 2014 when that came out.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of old stuff that's coming out. People, that's all new. No, it's a lot of the stuff's pretty old.
Okay.
But this new whistleblower they have about the crash sites and stuff, the retrieving the crash sites, that is the newest stuff that's coming out. And if they open the right files and get the right questions and answers that we want, not just this and that and little small stuff. We want the meat of all this stuff, because Dr. Greer's talked about this, his board back in the day, and it's irrelevant that we need to really know what's really going on, and we don't know if the government's going to let that go or not.
Now, Larry, do people email you videos, being that you conduct a show and send
all the time, and I'll get like pieces of metal and stuff, and I give it to my scientist buddy. He goes, "This is crap, Larry," But I get some wacky stuff, wacky calls, and wacky people on the show. But hey, everybody's going to have a piece of that pie on K-Ghost Radio and UFO Talk Radio, and that's what it's all about. That's what makes it.
But some of it's, in your mind, some of it is legit, though, right?
Yes.
Not just wacky people on acid, but actually people that have real documentation of stuff. So.
Yes, and I take them very seriously. I have a guy in Florida. Actually, someone landed with other people, and he calls me every other show, and his story's incredible. And yeah,
That's cool. I want to see some of that shit.
Yeah.
Now, do y'all believe in like Sasquatch and Loch Ness Monster and shit like that too?
Yeah, a Bigfoot is big. Yeah.
Yep.
But in both cases?
Bigfoot's there. It's the same thing. Sasquatch, Bigfoot, the same.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah. Well, but Loch Ness, like.
Loch Ness Monster.
Monster,
been proven. I think that's been proven to be whatever. But that's not such a big mystery anymore. But Bigfoot is, and I think it's I think it may be human. And that's why if you shoot one, it's illegal. You might shoot somebody either in a monkey suit or whatever.
Yeah, it's probably me running around Good Springs.
Right.
But
right.
yeah, so if Bigfoot or Sasquatch is a human, then it's not really a creature, right?
Right. It has to be something that's been through the years and developed to be, maybe they just want to live by themselves, and that's what it is. They do have quite an odor, though. It's the worst odor you can ever smell.
Have you smelled Sasquatch?
No, I've had people on my show that have had unbelievable stories. And but when I was camping up in the Northwest with a bunch of friends, we had rocks and limbs thrown into our campsite. And that's what they do. And the tree knocking was going on. And unbelievable. And we just kind of packed up and left.
But y'all didn't actually see anything?
No.
I think it'd be cool to see or a chuka. What's the chupacabra?
Chupacabra?
Chupacabra, is that?
Yeah. That's Mexico, right? That's
right.
Chupacabra.
Every country has to have their monster, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What? I'd like
you are the monster of Good Springs,
Thank
right?
you. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Apparently so. So Brian, what do you think? Like you believe in Bigfoot and shit like that?
You know what? It's one of those things where I believe that it's out there. Like he said, Larry is saying it could be, people just living out there on their own, whatever. But I'm Native American Indian. It's part of our culture, that kind of thing as well.
Yes.
So, I don't overlook it. Like maybe later, if you said we're gonna have my sister on the show. My dad had an experience when he was a kid with a UFO. He and his brothers, and when you hear it and you hear all three of their stories, my uncle has passed on, but you hear the stories, it's crazy.
Wow.
Like it was scary, like crying. They were little teenage, kid. My dad was young and his brothers were older than him and teenagers, and they're crying and scared. And
what tribe are you?
I'm Lakota Sioux.
Lakota Sioux.
And technically it's what nation are you?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I apologize.
Tribe. No, it's fine. Yeah.
No, Brian's real cool about all that shit.
It's fine.
I was a tribal police officer in Chehalis, and
that's right.
I used to meet with a lot of the folks out there, and I'm telling you the stories they told me. And I actually saw some stick people, and we went through the old cemetery, and I actually saw a group of elders that were in a kind of a circle, and they just faded away. And I got to see that.
Wow.
What the fuck?
Very special.
Well, that's a vision, right?
Yeah,
That's pretty.
Yeah.
You were tied into the Native American culture there. If you had visions and shit.
I loved them. I went to sweat lodges, and it was an experience.
It's crazy. I know the difference in my life, having lived as long as I have now, the difference between having a dream and having a vision. And when I had a vision, it was when I started a band, and it was with you. I dreamt that long before I ever did it, and I woke up and I told my parents, and it wasn't anything that I even thought about. I was a baseball player, and I saw myself doing this, and I knew that I was going to do it, and I make a living as a musician now, and I had a vision of that. I've had visions that have pointed me in directions that I know, I'm on the right path. I even had a vision that I woke up and I'm writing a children's book. I literally lived it, and I'm almost done with it. It's crazy.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna share it with you.
Really?
It's something I want to talk about.
That's badass.
Yeah. So
when we talk about visions, I'd worked for Michael Jackson, and I had a vision that I'll be working for someone very famous. And it's between when I left General Motors Delco, one of the NASA contractors, and he told me that you're going to be working for me, and I did that. This is right. So I got this job at this ranch called the Bone Ranch, which was Michael Jackson's Neverland, and he had just bought it, and what have you. And I was there for almost 2 years, and got to see him and know him. Who would ever think that would happen?
Wow.
But I had that vision. You're right.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can see things and they can come true. Really can come true. Like with this radio thing. I had a vision of doing this. I had a vision of being an entertainer and this, and I accomplished those goals, those visions, because if you have control of those visions, it will happen. But you got to believe in them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so I'm right now visioning me with my own brand of Old Man Liver weed happening sometime in the future. Yeah. So
really, I like it.
Yeah,
like
and I'm going to be a billionaire. And okay. I'm soaking in y'all's energy.
Can I work for you?
Yeah, no, I'm counting on it. Because,
Cool. Yeah. You probably need the native hookup or whatever.
Yeah, if you can.
I think that would work.
Yeah, I know you don't smoke, but if you can just act like
hey,
it.
I would be good at selling it. Because,
You are. You sell my whiskey really well, and you've never fucking tried it because he doesn't drink. He's done the smart thing.
Yeah,
realizing that it's probably not a good idea for being Native American and everything. I like to stay away from the shit.
Exactly. It's firewater. Firewater.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's crazy.
No, that's neat. So do Native Americans have their own lore and legends with any creatures or anything? Or is
I mean, you've already touched on that I'm aware of. Growing up, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, kind of thing.
And the thing is, being open to like I'm aware of certain things. I was going to bed the other night, and I knew that someone I was talking to had someone who passed. And I was laying there thinking, am I crazy? Because, my sister and I were talking about it, about being so connected. She's more so than me. I just am aware of what's going on around me. I'm aware of, like Larry said, when you sit and just pay attention, all of a sudden, like someone's trying to get my attention kind of thing. So I'm laying in bed the other night and I'm like, wow, I'm trying to rationalize certain things that happen. And then all of a sudden, there's this big clap at the foot of the bed. And I roll over and I look at Nicole and I said, did you just hear a clap? And she goes, yeah, right there. It freaked her out. She was asleep. And I'm like, okay, you're here.
Wow.
That was
Just
it. That's all I got.
Known.
Exactly. But I'm laying there thinking about it.
Yeah. So you're opening yourself up to it, which, just without leading into the ghost thing, Larry, do you have any residual ghosts coming from my house or anything at your place?
No.
You're lucky.
I've had them pass through, and I've heard that your place has a bit of that.
Right. And didn't you say the previous owner couldn't even stand it anymore and, had to move? Because, it's crazy. I mean, there's shit every night there that people will have, me and my old lady will be canking and shit, and we'll hear someone behind us or whatever. And we're like, oh, I guess they're a voyeur ghost. And then it's like, we'll hear people like at 3 a.m. fixing stuff in the kitchen. And I'm like, there's no one here. And I'll, of course, walk out and go check, and no one is there. But you hear dishes being set up and table. It's very prominent. It's fucking weird. And
town.
The whole town. It's a weird. It's like a vortex, and no Wi-Fi works in my house or anything. It's like literally an energy vortex that I can't be explained. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there's something fucking fucked up going on.
And that's what I'm saying. To me, it's like it's all energy, and if you're paying attention to it, Nicole, I sat at a table at a table in her living room, and we're sitting there talking, and she said, it's not that I don't believe you. This is early on in our relationship because I'd mentioned, oh, there's someone here. And she's like, yeah, right. And then take a picture, and there it is above my head. And that freaked her out. Then a couple other things. And she's like, I just need to really see it for myself to believe it. And then she's walking towards me, and she sees a flash of green light, and it's dead silent. We're getting ready to leave, and she goes, "Did you just hear?" I said, "Hello?" "Yeah, say hello back." And about 4 feet off the ground, a little girl's voice said hello, clear as day.
Shit.
Freaked her out.
Yeah.
And I said, "Just say hello back." And she's like, "No, this is my house. You can't be here." She got scared and wanted to leave till she forgot about it. And I said, "No, you asked for this." And that's what I'm saying. Like,
well, remember that picture the other day from the Pioneer
that's how I
Saloon
wanted to
with
get on that. Yeah.
With the boy in the background, and it's, you can see.
You know what's funny? There are people saying, you and I both see a little boy with
people
little
are saying girl. Yeah, I noticed that.
All these people are saying they see a little girl in a dress, and I saw a little boy in like those shorts with the shoes, and that's what I saw. And the name Cecil came to mind.
Oh shit!
Right when I saw the photo. And so I saw a little boy when I saw the photo, and that and you and I, we were having a conversation and stuff like that. You witnessed it firsthand with my sister at the Pioneer.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we
when she
get
gets
her
here.
on, because
okay.
That's crazy shit too. But even it's funny, on a recent trip to New Orleans with my old lady, we're laying in bed after
Which
hitting
old lady?
Pat O'Brien's, one of them.
Okay.
And it was crazy because, like, in the middle of the fucking night, this swoosh starts on one side of the bed and goes to the other side. And both of us, it woke us both up, and we're both looking at each other going, "You heard that, right?" And we're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, but we were fucking hammered. And I was like, "It's not going to kill us. Let's go back to sleep and deal with it tomorrow." The next day we woke up and we're like, "Did I dream that?" And she's like, "No, that happened." I'm like, "What the fuck, man?" It was so prominent, and you could feel it and hear it go from one side over us to the other side, and we both had the same experience. I'm like, how can you explain that? Like, there's no, we couldn't figure out any other, like the air conditioning unit or somehow, whatever. It's weird. So there's just a lot of unexplainable shit that goes on that I think some people are more in tune with. And like you said, you open yourself up to that.
Yeah.
And you go through life with your eyes closed and you're holding your ears and you don't want to see anything. Yeah, you're not gonna experience anything.
Your place that you own, the Pioneer. I've had experiences there. Opening the bar early in the morning, getting things ready. I would hear music. I would smell a cigar. I kind of ignored it, And then one morning, I opened that door. The front door had the gate there, not back in the day, and I think it's still there. But I heard talking. And as I walked in, on the side of my eye, on this side of the right side, I could see them people sitting down there and having a conversation. Now, once I turned, they disappeared. Poof. And this went on for maybe a couple of weeks. And then I started looking straight ahead, just painting what I was doing, stalking the bar. And as long as I didn't look at them, I could see them on the side of my eye. And they would point at me. And so they knew that I was there, and I knew they were there, but I just ignored them, and I'd catch them when I turn at them, and they just disappear. So that happened for a long time. Wow. And the cigar and perfume smell, and I'm serious, this happened.
Yeah, a lot of servers to this day will, at that same booth, that same area in the dining room, they smell cigarettes and cigars, and there's no one in there. We don't even allow smoking. Wow. And even when no one's sitting there at all, and they've brought that up several times, and a lot of people.
Stories are endless about that place, and unbelievable.
I want to come out late at night.
We'll do
I want to sit.
We'll do a late night thing after it's closed and get a little crazy.
Like nothing. They're not like a seance or anything silly like that. I just want to come out and pay attention. Like, we could sit and you could teach me how to play cards. I don't even know how to play cards. Or we could, whatever. But I want to experience it. Now, my sister, on the other hand, she was like, I can't do that, because
it'd be overload for her, probably.
It is massive overload, and it's too much. Like, I've witnessed her have these moments with people that, she's just hugging them, and then she's having to run off and shake it off. Oh, it's
It's called the sight, and very clairvoyant. She must be very clairvoyant.
Very, and it's wild. The people that come through and try and talk, and it happened right there when we were sitting at the Pioneer that day, and you could see.
Oh,
we'll get into that.
Oh,
when
yeah,
she gets
hair was up on my arms, freaking out.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But well, that's cool. Well, I know we got a timeline here, so Larry, I just want to say thank you so much for being on the show today. I knew you'd be the perfect person to have some good input on the subject matter. And how is it best for people to find you and your show?
Well, just go to K-Ghost Radio, the Glen Lary Show, and we're on every Tuesday night. We're on YouTube, Facebook, we're on Spotify, we're on iHeartRadio, but YouTube would be your best. The K-Ghost Radio, LaryGlen Anderson, and you'll see it there. So it's
awesome. Yeah, everybody check it out.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Larry. Yeah.
I love it.
All right, neighbor, we'll see you soon.
You got it, buddy.
Take care, brother.
Bye-bye, everybody.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, it's fun. So we Larry and I met each other first at the Pioneer Saloon, and then when I ended up buying a house, I was like, I had to apologize to him, like, sorry, you didn't think that I'd be your fucking neighbor now, and I'm sure we're disaster, we're that. So we're going to see if we can get Bryan's sister Buffy on the line here via Zoom. All right, so we've got Buffy Hopkins on the line. Thank you for joining us, Buffy.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey. You might recognize your brother over here in the seat. I know he didn't even realize you were on the show. Apparently, I'm a terrible communicator.
It's okay.
That's why I have a podcast, because I'm a shitty communicator. Does that make sense? Fuck, I'm a fucking idiot. So, so we have you on the show because this episode is all about just the interesting oddities of life and the things people are tuned into that not everyone is tuned into, and all the just generally weird shit. So I know you have a special gift because I've actually experienced it myself. And Bryan started to, talk about this a few minutes ago.
So I stopped.
Yeah, because I was like, we got the real deal coming on, here shortly. So not, that you're not real. But but can you tell us what happened the other day at the Pioneer Saloon when I was with you?
Well, what angle to even talk about it as? I think one of the main things that happened and why it was coming through, or why our uncle was coming through, is a whole big story on what you had done for our family. So while we were sitting there with you, our whole purpose to come out and see you was to thank you for that. And while we were sitting there with you, Bryan and I, a song from Hank Williams Jr., who had been a part of our life when we were children. Our dads, or that uncle and our dad would sing on the porch probably every night together. And we would hear that song as children all the time. But hadn't heard it for years since I was a child, and obviously him as well. And so when we were sitting there with you, your band that you had playing there at the Pioneer Saloon somehow played the song out of nowhere. But right when the song hit, we both looked at each other, and I didn't have a choice. He knew, and I didn't know it was going to happen that fast, but my uncle started to come through really strong and really fast. And the message was for you, and to say thank you to you. But if it was for me, when that experience happens, and I think what freaked you out is you saw physically what happens to me. And so when the message started to come through, my chest tightens up, and my voice changes, and I kind of buckle in, my hands roll in, and it's letting me know somebody is coming through now. Somebody's coming through. And I usually know exactly who it is. And at that time I did know it was him. And so I had to, ask him not to come through, because he would have stayed a long time. He probably would have joined the band and wanted to sing songs, and I would have messed, and I would have freaked out. I would have been doing all kinds of things. But it's literally what happens. And it's your face kind of was like, whoa, what is happening? That does happen when I don't get the opportunity. But at that time, I was looking across the table at my brother like, oh, shit, it's happening.
Wow. And so you physically, that happens to you physically every time a message is sent through you?
When I know either my hair stands up when it's like just a soft, I'm here, will you let them know I'm here? If I don't know the person, I'll get chills, or I'll get just a chill from my head to my toes. If it's a little bit stronger, like, hey, I really have a message. But at that time, because it was him and you were right there, he was like, hey, I want to say thank you myself. And it, yeah, that is what happened.
That was neat. It was very kind. It was very moving. And I was like taken aback, and Buffy couldn't even talk. Like when the server came over and tried to take the order, and I'm like, she needs a moment. Like,
and tears. You had tears in her. She had tears running down her face. You just spent Friday. My sister came out publicly. We've known this about her for a long time, but you publicly came out on my podcast, Hero's Journey podcast, and said, I speak to dead people. I see dead people. Yeah.
That's great. And do you call it psychic? Is that what you call your gift, or do you have another way of explaining it?
We're called a medium. I'm a medium. I mean, that's what they call it. And I always say, hey, hi, I talk to dead people, because for our dead people talk through me, because that's what it feels like from me. All of a sudden my body is taken over and I'm talking like somebody else and saying whatever message. And like I said before, I don't remember sometimes what is said. I don't remember the interactions all the time, because it's not for me. It's for that person to the other person.
Wow. And do you think everyone has this gift, but just most people shut off or don't open themselves up, or are you special? And how do you feel about that?
To me, and when I went out to Sydney, Australia, I got to meet a lot of people who are just like me. Everybody has it at different levels, for sure. I went to go see people myself, or to try to go get a reading myself, and they'll say to me, I can't read you when you're reading me. And I'm like, oh, fair enough. So I have to go look and find somebody who's stronger than me. And the times that I have, it's been women who speak other languages, and I need an interpreter because I can't read them. I don't understand them, is the only thing that I can take from that. But I was sitting across from a woman who speaks Farsi, and my friend was the interpreter, and the woman, and she also did what is called a teacup reading. And she looked directly across the table at me and she said, you read minds. But she said it in her language, and I said, yes, I do. And my friend was like, what the, huh? And I was like, oh, sorry.
Wow.
And then she went on a little bit with the reading, and then she looked at me and said, you're a medium. And I said, yes, I am. And she said, you have stronger gift than me. And she was saying this in her language, but I could understand her. I just got chills all over my body. So then I went to another one when I was living in Nashville, and she told me the same thing. She said, we were having our reading or whatever, and she said to me, you're a medium, you don't need me. And I said, no, I mean, I still do. I still have questions. So to answer that, every human being is energy. All of us are energy. Me being a woman who gave birth, I had a human being come out of my body. That's crazy. And the fact that we give birth to another human being that comes out with 10 toes, 10 fingers, eyes, nose, and for the most part, they come out in the same place. That's energy.
Yeah, and just touching on that, I've always said that nobody thinks about how fucking weird childbirth is. I mean, you grow this other being, it's like an alien in your body, and then your body eventually shoves it out, and it can be violent and ripping shit and all that. Nobody talks about how weird that is, but that's a weird.
No, you know what though? Women are just powerful. I think it's amazing to be a woman, and you look at a woman and just go, wow, your ability to do that and reproduce, like the world is, you get punched in the face and hurt. And they go through all of that and then say they'll do it again and again.
Yeah.
For the love
People
of
choose to do it again a second time and a third time.
Exactly.
And I always said women are more stronger than men.
They are.
But although I gave myself credit after I had my kidney stones, because that was a fucking, I feel like I can relate to the pain and giving birth in that case. It was a fucking shit show. But that was just interesting that you touched on the childbirth thing, because I've always been fascinated and wonder why more people don't talk about how crazy that is in this world, that's how we create life and keep it going. And, they talk about energy not being created nor destroyed, which is always like a good, a good proponent for the theory of there being an afterlife and all that. Like your spirit's got to go somewhere. That energy has to keep going.
Right. It was wild because there was a conversation going on outside before we started this show, and it was on the level of religion and all these things. And, we're talking about energy. We're talking about life. We're talking about if you can believe in God and that kind of thing, then why can't there be energy and this whole mass universe that's out there being more life? There's so much more going on. We can't be so naive and so arrogant to believe that we're it.
Yeah, we know everything, and our brains can't even fucking comprehend.
Exactly.
For me, I didn't read a book. Now, I can tell you there are people who go and read books and, sit down and read your cards, because you can be taught to do that. But the fact that I'm born this way, and even Bryan, what he experiences, and my mom, and even Cody, our family, that the energy, once you accept it, and I just don't believe a lot of people accept it, or I think a lot of people don't accept it. They don't realize what's happening. I've always even said, when the little kids go, my pretend friend, that's not a pretend friend. They see things, but it's that as adults, they go, no, you're being dumb. No, don't do that. And we like to tell them that things aren't real, that's not real. But I'm real. I was born this way.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't, for somebody to tell me that this doesn't exist, they sound crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've shared this with Buffy. I went to a pet class. We got a new puppy, Nicole and I, right? And the first day we went, I just wanted to soak in all this knowledge. So me, I'm very outspoken. I want to talk, I'll talk, get to know everybody. I walked in, there were other puppy parents there with their puppies and whatnot. And the lady, the teacher, was Italian. And she had this very thick Italian accent, right? And I was just listening and paying attention, almost nervous, like want to make sure that I learn how to have this puppy be the right thing, right, perfect little puppy, if I can make that happen. And at the end of the class, now I haven't said anything except for thank you, yes, whatever she wanted me to do for the puppy. And she makes a note to all of us that animals are receptive to, they can tell if somebody is a bad person.
Yeah.
They see that. Like if you watch your animal react to people, they're letting you know something about this person that you can't see, but maybe figure out later, that kind of thing. This is what she was saying. And she goes, and children are the same way. And Nicole points at me, and she said, children and animals love him. And then she's getting emotional, this lady. And she goes, okay, I'm going to ruin everything I just taught you guys today because I need to say something to you. Please don't think I'm crazy. I'm not hitting on your man. She goes, you have a gift. You know that, right? And I'm like, she goes, no, a gift. Like, do you read people? You can see things. You know stuff. And she's trying to not say that you're a medium. I'm like, I'm not that. And she goes, do you read cards? Will you read? I'm like, I'm not that. but I'm aware. I'm just aware, and it doesn't scare me. Buffy, I had an interaction the other day. I was just saying earlier on the show that I was thinking about this after you left the house, and you and I were talking about this so intently that when you left, and we had somebody that I know that they talked about, they had just passed, and I was like, oh man, like being in tune to stuff like that and laying there thinking, it was keeping me awake. And I'm trying to rationalize because, you're trying to explain it to your friends and you seem crazy, but it's not like you and I are walking around telling anybody any of this stuff, and I don't have your gift. But I'm laying there and all of a sudden I get woke up. I'm not asleep. I'm just on my side, and there's this loud clap at the end of the bed. And I roll over and Nicole pops up and I go, did you just hear a clap? And she goes, yeah, right there. And somebody clapped in the room. It was night. It was 3 a.m. And they're right there in the room clapping.
Shit.
I didn't get scared, but I had to prove to her, like, I got out of bed and I walked the house, but I wasn't scared because I was talking to him, trying to find out who it was. What's that?
People all the time, just talk to him.
Yeah. And that's what I was doing.
Yeah, wasn't there a case where, like, Buffy, you called Bryan knowing something was going on with him?
Yeah, with him and Nicole. Yeah, or with Nicole, when I knew that she had people around her, that I somehow knew that her mom had
3 miscarriages. Yeah.
Wow.
Called, and when I took the photo, I took 3 photos, and in the third photo we see an orb, but we see it outside the phone, and I caught it.
Yeah, because you have orbs all around all the time, right?
I got a ton that show up all the time. Another time Buffy called, what happened was my phone was on the side of the bed, just sitting here like it is now, and it just hits the floor. And instead of freaking out, because it's laying flat and just hits the floor, and instead of freaking out, I look at Nicole and I said, well, somebody's here trying to get our attention. And I'm talking to him, and Buffy calls and said, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, just sitting in my room. And she goes, oh, that's funny. There are 2 people there right now in your room. And Buffy's telling me that there's somebody, he has long hair, he's young, he's telling me he's family, but I don't know him, I don't recognize him. And I knew exactly that moment. I said, that's Uncle Timmy. He died when he was 19, and you were little and you don't remember him. And then she goes, he's saying he's there all the time with you. And then there's somebody else, and he's got a hat on, and he just keeps saying, thank you. Tell him thank you. And I go, I know who exactly that is too. And it's Route 91. I had taken a photo with this young man right before he was shot and killed.
Oh, shit.
But what yeah. Say again?
If you could see my hairs on my arms stick up, they're with me.
Yeah.
So that's what happens to me also. Once somebody has come through me and they're spoken of again, they'll let me know that they're still with me. And everything, my hairs all the way down come up. And I don't ever get scared. I go, oh yeah, they're still with me. Okay. And it
right. Well, wow. And I knew who that was. I told you right then. I know who this is. And Nicole's sitting there, and I took photos at the end of the bed, and there it was.
That's crazy.
And what was wild was he was not saying thank you for the photo. That's silly. I got asked to play multiple charity concerts after that. On the 5th, the 6th, and the 15th, I went to Alaska for 2 fallen Alaskans. And when it was all over, well, when I got into town, I'm holding the hand of the mother of one of the fallen Alaskans. His name was Adrian Murfitt. And I'm holding her hand while she's telling me about her son. I'm sitting next to his brother, his sister, and his niece and nephew, and the mayor of the city. And then the next day, I play the show, sold out show. I'm sitting down talking to Nicole. This guy walks up to me. His name was Bryan. And he said, I want to thank you for being here with doing this for my friend. Wow. And he goes, and I'm like, I'm really sorry. And he goes, I was there too. And I'm like, oh, I got up and I'm FaceTiming Nicole, and Nicole's just my friend at this time. And I hug him and I said, I'm really sorry. He goes, that was my best friend. And I said, well, I'm sorry to meet you this way. And he goes, we met before this happened.
That's some crazy
And I
shit.
flash back. I took a photo minutes before this happened, but we raised money for his funeral, and I consoled his mom and his family all night, the night before and that day. And so him saying thank you through my sister meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
And I knew, and I was like, Buffy gets off the phone and I'm like, you can go now. It's okay.
Wow.
You can go, so.
That's crazy.
And it's like what, the best way to describe it for me is that I'm okay with, I know if the flash of this is who this is, I told you, like, one of my friend, his guitar player passed. I only met him twice. And he's a well-known guitar player in a well-known band. Yet,
too.
What's that?
They come through you as well.
Yeah.
But strong, but they do.
Yeah, and I got woke up though by 3 taps in the back, and I woke up, and then I feel it again. Boom, 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 tap me, and then I knew who it was. He's saying, I'm okay.
Wow.
And I tell my sister, I'm like, wow, this was crazy. This just happened last night. And I told Nicole right when it happened. And she's like, you got to tell your friend. And it took me 2 days to get the courage to let him know. And he was upset. He was not upset, but he's like, thank you. I needed to hear that. I don't think you're crazy. And I'm like, okay, good. Because my sister has been in tune to this for a very long time. This is not something that I'm just like, she has made me be aware. That's all.
That's neat. So Buffy's been like a teacher for
exactly,
you in a lot of
exactly,
ways.
but nothing.
Well, remember that time I came through you and knocked on your back a couple times, and
yeah, but you were actually there.
I was coming.
So yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get in that. I could talk about the shit for fucking 6 hours. But,
I know.
People only have like a 30-second attention span. So thanks, TikTok. But how intuitive are you at home? Maybe it's fucking going to open your mind a little bit. You probably haven't even noticed that I have 2 legs on my shirt. You probably haven't even caught that yet. So, you need to open yourself up. See what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah, right. But hey, I just want to thank Buffy Hopkins, Bryan Hopkins, Lary, Glen Anderson. Thank you all for being on the show. Appreciate your input. Made it so much fucking cooler than if I was just sitting here by myself talking about weird shit. So I might, and it's not scary. So it's all great.
Do you have anything to say before we go, Buff?
I could go on and on about my life and how often it happens. But just what Stephen was saying, if more people would just open their minds and be aware, they wouldn't be so scared, because every single one of us have it. Everyone is an empath. Everybody is walking energy. So when things are happening, just be aware. That thing that they call a gut instinct, your intuition, that's it. Just listen to it. And when you start doing that, you'll start seeing that people that you want to talk to, or that people are trying to tell you what direction to go in life. It's all within yourself. Just listen to it.
Thank you, Buffy. And on that note,
that was awesome.
Yeah, that's a fucking great message. And for those of you at home, let yourself be open for Old Man Liver coming into you. That's
Ouch.
it. That's it for What's What with Old Man Liver. Woota, my friends. Woota. It's What's What. It's What's What.